Vanya, how you doing?
Hey Joey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It has been too long. You look great. It's nice to see you.
Likewise. I was just saying you literally haven't changed.
Well, I appreciate that. It's been what? I think I moved from I think 2017. So we're going on like 8 years since I moved from Sydney.
Yeah.
Uh, Good times, and that's how we know each other. You were so awesome. As you know, my family, we moved all the way to the other side of the world to Sydney, Australia, and it was one of the coolest things we've ever done. But we worked together at Rakuten, and you helped manage some of the biggest brands in the world from the biggest affiliate network in the world, and you crushed it. But you've always been impressive to me since then. But um, first, can you tell me a little bit about your Bulgarian roots? And you lived in Sweden, and you live in Australia now, and you've been all over the world. But tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how that's shaped who you are today.
Oh my God, yeah, I'd love to. So it is a bit of a mixed bag, as you say. Both my parents are Bulgarian, and
Cool.
1985, about a month before I was born, they decided to uproot their lives. At the time, that was like the Eastern Bloc. My gran had moved to Sweden, with the sole purpose of like getting out and hopefully getting her family out as well. And so my dad just packed up a van, a little Volkswagen, and off they went by car from from Bulgaria to Sweden. And yeah, my mom was like 8 months pregnant, literally arrived in August, and I was born in September. So the poor woman like had to give birth in a country where like she didn't even speak the language. But as a result, obviously, I then became a Swedish citizen and so on and so forth. And it was basically a way for them to kind of stay in Sweden. And yeah, I was born and raised in beautiful and cold Stockholm.
Uh-huh.
And it was an interesting upbringing because, they didn't really know the culture, they didn't speak the language.
Mhm.
And so I really had, two worlds. The one at home where everything was super Bulgarian and the language was Bulgarian, the food was Bulgarian. And then as soon as I stepped out of those doors, I was like, a Swedish girl surrounded by Swedes. And it was yeah, really interesting kind of dynamic because those two cultures are quite different.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I lived in Sweden till I was around 22. At the time, met my then boyfriend, now husband, and we decided he's a Brit. So we were like, it'll be cool to see the world. Why don't we try Australia? And yeah, we were meant to come out to Sydney for like a year. And I think now it's been 17 years, 16 years of living in Sydney.
Wow.
So the year ended up being a lot longer than intended. And yeah, we now have two girls and pretty much set and settled in Sydney.
That's awesome. That is so cool. That's a such a great story. Are your daughters soccer players like you?
Look, I tried. I really tried. No, they actually have dabbled, but they're very into dance as well. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe I feel like my youngest has probably more potential, but interestingly, my oldest girl just made the school soccer team and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. They're very young still.
That's
Maybe there's.
awesome.
Hmm.
Well, good for you. And your husband's great. I remember meeting him once in the park when we do those, Friday workouts.
Yeah.
But what about what's a childhood memory that still influences you today, from your Bulgarian roots to growing up in Sweden? What do you still, think about?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I think I just remember a lot of like family like get-togethers. Like I think back in the day we didn't have a lot of Bulgarians in Sweden. Like that wasn't a thing, you know. It wasn't as if we had our like minority that we could go and eat Bulgarian food in like a cafe that does it or something like that that exists now. But back then it was so rare. So I remember there was a handful of Bulgarians that had, escaped
Yeah.
and were living in Stockholm. And they kind of became, even though they weren't necessarily blood family, but like they became our family. So I just remember these like big Bulgarian like gatherings and, in their culture, like the kids stay up till so late. I found this like VHS recording the other day of us all with our parents, and you can see the timestamp. It's like it's midnight, and I'm probably like 7 years old, but I'm up with the adults. They're having a drink. I'm like playing with the kids in a corner. It was just such a nice like community vibe, and I think that's why whenever I do go back to Bulgaria, it just feels like family. It's hard
Yeah.
to explain, but that's just like the roots.
Yeah, that's so cool. I really wanted to get to Bulgaria when we were living in Dubai because it was only a couple hour flight. Um,
Yeah,
and so tell me a little bit about Sofia is the capital, right?
correct. Yeah.
What's it like going to Bulgaria?
Well, interestingly, I'm actually going in 2 weeks,
Cool.
and it's the first time since COVID. So it'll be really lovely, especially now that my girls are a bit older, that they can actually see it and probably remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Sofia is an interesting city. It's really like you can still see the old Bulgaria very much so. Like certain buildings just look extremely run down and old and kind of like, how are they still standing? That's pretty much like my apartment. Whenever I go to that one, I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified the lift is going to stop because it's just so old.
Yeah.
But then you have this huge, new Bulgaria that's coming, like the, capitalist Bulgaria that's emerged with Jaguars on the street. And it's just the complete polar opposite. So it's quite a interesting city to be in. And I feel like every time I go back, because I tend to go back to Sweden a bit more often,
Mhm.
um, but every time I go back to Bulgaria, obviously it's been a few years and I can really see this like evolution happening. And every time it seems to just be kind of getting, I guess, better in the sense of just more modernized. People seem a bit happier
Yeah.
and just, yeah, a little bit more Western, if you like. But we're going to go to the coast as well, which is beautiful. So the Black Sea coast, very kind of
Beautiful.
touristy, but beautiful beaches, amazing food. So yeah, I think as much as I'd like to explore Sofia with the kids, I'm also excited just to get to the coast and
Sure.
just have a holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, enjoy. That's wonderful. Well, Vanya, we've known each other now for a decade, and you've been through a lot recently, and I've really admired your story. You're a strong woman that inspires others. But can you tell me, a little bit about the last few years that you've been through, and but more importantly, like what's the good that's come from that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been an interesting, especially like 12, 13 months or so. But basically, it was May 2024 where I got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and it was completely out of nowhere. It was a fluke in a way that I found this like lump on my tummy that I ended up looking into. And I also, through a colonoscopy, ended up finding a tumor in my bowel and basically got diagnosed within a few days of stage 4 ovarian cancer, which was a complete shock. At the time, I was 38, so it was quite young. I mean, I'm no spring chicken, but it wasn't necessarily like the age that you would expect a diagnosis like that. Specifically for ovarian, the average age is like 60 or so. So
Yeah.
it just completely turned our whole lives upside down. And look, the outcomes and everything since then, major surgery, chemo for 16 weeks every week
Yeah.
for a long time. And just, even now I'm on immunotherapy, I'm on maintenance medication. It's kind of always going to now be a part of us or me.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing that's come of it is really this like desire to just live life, like I've come back to work and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna do all the things. I'm gonna do all the traveling and just a little bit of a like YOLO attitude after that. So it's been really challenging, but the silver lining is you just get this perspective on like what actually matters and what doesn't. And you no longer sweat the small stuff. You just kind of go, you know what, I'm just gonna live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I love that. And just watching your journey was just gut wrenching and amazing, though, to watch you just pull through and inspire others again, because, I think you're helping other people fight. And now, like you said, I think when you have that, I mean, I haven't been through that, so I'm not going to pretend, but I've talked to a few people where you've had that near death experience, and that changes things.
It
So,
does. It does. And I'll be honest, Joey, like I think one of the key things that's changed is just um I don't know. It's odd. I'm not a big believer in any higher power or anything, but I definitely feel like this happened so that I could highlight to the rest of the world that actually the one cancer I ended up getting has been extremely underfunded, under talked about. Like I was like,
Yeah.
it targeted me because I have a loud voice and I'm going to do something with that. So oddly, because of everything, I almost feel this responsibility to like advocate for this and say, you know what, this isn't right. How do we change it? How do we fundraise? So now I'm like this crazy fundraiser as of last year. Like I've done two big events and we've raised close to 40K in just
Wow.
the small little events that I've been able to put on, right? Just so that we can help with the research that has been just really behind other cancer types. So yeah, that's kind of how I rationalize it and say, you know what, maybe it hit me for a reason. It needed a strong voice, and hopefully I can, you know, be that kind of, I don't know, help to change things and the outcomes for future women.
Well, I think you and your husband are doing a good job. So keep fighting, and I love it. It's good to see good people fight. So, and it'll make your Bulgaria trip coming up that much sweeter too, right?
That's exactly right. And we're doing a bit of a European tour. We're doing Bulgaria, Turkey, Greece, and Italy. And then I fly to Singapore and Hong Kong on the way back because of a few work events too. So it's
Wow.
literally going to be, yeah, pretty full on trip.
Yeah, that's a lot of luggage. Good luck. That's going to be fun. Well, going back to your roots here soon, what's something unique about your Bulgarian culture specifically that you're really proud of? It sounds like very family oriented in Sweden, but what's something that you're proud of?
Yeah, for sure. I do think that like family orientation, like you do prioritize your family unit above all. And I think that really has helped. But I also feel like this like, I don't know, the tenacity, the like the grit of the Bulgarian spirit, like they you don't mess with it, you know? And I feel like that's really helped with my confidence, my even this battle that I've just had. It's this like I don't know, inner like strength. And I feel like Bulgarians are hard
Mhm.
because of maybe history shaping them that way. But I always think about my like grandmother, who I'm named after. Like she was just such a badass. Like, you know, sorry, I'm not
You're fine.
allowed to use certain words, but like she was just such a independent, like trailblazer of a woman, like first woman in Bulgaria to ride a motorbike because she just liked it, you know? And so I feel
Cool.
like that kind of tenacity and strength has come from maybe her like tough upbringing, but that's definitely in like my DNA and that Bulgarian like determination.
That's
Not
awesome.
to say stubbornness, but almost.
Yeah. Well, what's a local dish from Bulgaria that everybody has to try?
Oh, I mean, my favorite, and actually my husband's favorite, and now my kid's favorite is it's called Mikitsi, and it's kind of like a donut, I guess. Like it's fried bread, but you have it with a bit of like sugar, or you can dip it in like jam or something. But it's a breakfast. It's very unhealthy,
Mhm.
but it's like a puffy bread, like fried bread thing that's very like sweet. And the kids have just been hounding me to make it, but I'm like, no, no, hold off. We're going there in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
You'll have the real deal. So yeah, that's delicious. But apart from that, it's just very much like I grew up with like homemade stews and like slow cooked lamb and all these like really hearty,
yeah,
yummy, like hot pots of just goodness. Often like meat and potato, like that kind of
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Swedish dish?
Yeah. Oh my God, the Swedes. They're very good at like, so I don't know if you've ever heard of the term fika.
Mm-mm.
It's basically like a religion for the Swedes, and it's ultimately a coffee break. That's all
Okay,
it is. But
okay.
if you go to any workplace in Sweden or like you want to hang out with your friends, you go for a fika, and that is like coffee with like a sweet treat. And so they do really good like cinnamon scrolls or like vanilla buns. Like they just have the best pastries. And yeah, that moment is like sacred. You just sit down and you enjoy your like no coffee with a sweet thing. So it's not even about the food. It's like the moment.
Yeah, that's great. What you've been all around the world. You've lived all around the world, but what's your favorite place to travel and why?
Yeah, I would actually say it's Turkey. Like I back in the day, an ex-boyfriend was Turkish and we lived in Sweden at the time, but he had a house in southern Turkey, and I think I just discovered this beautiful like part of the world where it's the beaches are stunning, the water was like crystal clear, the food, oh my God, amazing, and I have a soft spot for it, especially this is why for this trip I'm actually heading to Istanbul because it's just one of the most gorgeous cities in the world. So yeah, I think I have a little bit of a soft spot for Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey's amazing. I love Istanbul. And
Yeah.
like the south too. I've only been to Antalya, but they're
Yeah.
on the turquoise coast that they call it. So beautiful.
So beautiful. And I was lucky I could holiday there for months and basically have accommodation sorted so we could really explore. So I've explored a fair bit of Turkey. But there's so much more to see even. So yeah, that's probably the highest on my list. And plus the people are so lovely and the
Yeah.
food is like amazing that it kind of ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, yeah. There and
Yeah.
walking from I just remember walking along the rivers and over the bridges and it's beautiful there.
It's so stunning, like the Blue Mosque in Hagia Sophia and like the markets, and it's just stunning. So I can't wait to show the girls. Don't ask me how I'm gonna manage a crazy 5-year-old little girl who's probably gonna like run off in this big market, but oh, we'll see. I'll report back.
Yeah, good luck. We love the Turkish lamps as well. So when we were in Dubai, it's just beautiful, that old Arab, the that old culture. But we found a place in Vegas too. So like, but we love the those Turkish lamps that we got a legit one from Turkey. So
Same. I literally have a couple hanging in my living room, so I feel you.
what's something about your home country, Bulgaria, that you feel is misunderstood?
Oh, actually, this one applies to both Bulgaria and Sweden,
Okay.
and that's that people can be quite like hard.
Hmm.
You know, the Swedes are considered quite cold at first, and the Bulgarians are considered quite rude at first. But ultimately, I think both are genuinely lovely people, but they just have a bit of a like harder exterior to break down. So they probably won't greet you with a smile. However, it's not because they're not good people. They just have, I think the Swedes are quite reserved
Uh-huh.
and they're used to kind of being very organized and following rules and they don't give you much until you kind of give it to them and then they go, all right, defense is down. And same in Bulgaria, really. You might enter a shop and the shopkeeper might almost like look at you like, why are you here? Rather than like in Australia, it's like, hey, how you going? What can I
Yeah.
do to help? Like it's a completely different initial first impression. So I think, yeah, that I think both countries are potentially a bit misunderstood,
Mm,
but they are lovely people once you break down that barrier.
sure. Well, that's good advice. Who has been a major influence in your life and why?
I would say, gosh, probably, yeah, my gran, who I mentioned earlier. Like, I don't know, maybe being, named after her. She was good old Baba Vanya. She was like just so tough. Like, she raised my dad all on her own.
Mm,
Back then, single parent. She worked in a factory with all men, all like male engineers. So she really had to like be tough. And like I
yeah.
said, she was the first woman to ride a motorbike in communist Bulgaria back then. And she was the one who realized, actually, I want to take my family out of this situation. So she married a Bulgarian man in Sweden who I know for a fact she was not in love with. She knew she wanted to get her family out of Bulgaria. And so she like, yeah, took one for the team and married a
Wow.
man for the sole purpose of staying there so that she could get the rest of the family out there. So, yeah, quite a tough old lady. And I spent so much time with her growing up. She was like a third parent, and
Mhm.
she really, she was strict. She made sure I was like, top A student. Like anything I did, she was like, you have to do it perfect. And I was like, okay, no pressure. But I think it always kind of raised the bar for me, and I hope I'm making her proud.
Yeah, that's great. Baba Vanya. You'll be a good Grandma Vanya yourself. That's
Oh
great.
my gosh, yeah. Hopefully not as strict, but you know what? It has a few benefits.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
if you could go back 10 years and give yourself some advice? What would it be?
Whew. You know what? I think yeah, the last 10 years I've really just learned to like own who I was. I think maybe like growing up in a country where, I wasn't necessarily the norm. Like I said, I was from an immigrant family, and then even moving out here, I wasn't the norm. I was, from a different place. That sometimes comes with not this like shame of who you are, but you almost hide a little bit
Yeah.
like who you truly are to like adapt to this new culture. Whereas I found this real sense of pride and confidence that's come with age in like that's what's actually making you, more interesting, or that's what shaped you. So kind of like just owning who you are rather than trying to blend in. So probably just the advice would be to like just, own who you are. Like what makes you different is actually what makes you interesting.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, obviously, but I think sometimes that just comes with age as well.
Sure. No, I think that's good advice for everyone. But it is funny how like we have these epiphanies, and I agree with you. Like, you know, you always say like, I wish I could go back and do this better, but at the same time, like that's how you got to where you're at right now as well. And so just some things come with time.
Some things come with time. And I always say as well, I think becoming a parent also shapes you, you kind of, again, your priorities
Yeah.
align, or have going through what we went through last year, that also shapes you so that you really kind of, yeah, prioritize the things that matter, and you just become more comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah. I like that. What's something that's super unique or funny about you that most people don't know?
No. This is actually really funny because I was speaking about this only like a couple of days ago, but I used to play soccer or football quite competitively. And when I was 18, my Swedish team flew to Bulgaria for like training camp or whatever. My dad organized it because the pitches in Sweden are so frozen over that in preseason, we can't even play on grass, even though the whole season's played on grass. So a lot of Swedish teams go to the southern parts of Europe so that they can, run in the boots, like get some touches on a grass field. So we flew to Bulgaria with my team, with my Swedish team, and played there for like a week. And the head of like the Bulgarian soccer team, the national side, was there. And she was like, "Does she happen to have dual citizenship?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "Well, we're doing this like qualification for the Euros, the under 19 girls. Like we're going to go and play the Euro qualification." And so I got called to play in Hungary
Oh,
for
wow.
Bulgaria. So I played in the under 19s Euro qualifications in Hungary. I can't even remember. I think it was the year I turned 19, or maybe I even spent my 18th birthday there. I definitely had a birthday at this tournament. And yeah, we played 3 games, donned the whole national kit with like, the national anthem playing before the game. It was like a full international cap. And played 3 games. We got knocked out because at the time Bulgarian female football was definitely not a thing. Still probably isn't. But that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So how do you, yeah, when it comes to like World Cup time, like where's your, how do you cheer for who?
Oh my God, I've got so many to cheer for, right? Like it's tough. My husband's British, so
Yeah.
I'll cheer for England and Scotland because he's got Scottish heritage. And Sweden tends to do better than Bulgaria.
Yeah.
But I reckon Oh, it's tough. Like it's between probably more Bulgaria because I love an underdog,
Yeah.
but Sweden tends to qualify more often. And I
Sure.
love Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's also been a huge player for them. So yeah, I've been cheering on Sweden. And then obviously now living in Australia, you kind of, you have to cheer for Australia as well.
Yeah, Australia is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's next year, next summer in the Americas. So that'll be fun. Then
That'll be fun. Yeah, definitely. I created a vision board when I was going through chemo
hmm,
with all the things I like wanted to do and wanted to like live for, if you like, and that was on there. So we'll
come
see.
out. Yeah, come
Fingers
out to LA. So I know
Yeah.
there's some games in Canada, and I want to go to there's one in Monterrey, Mexico, with like the beautiful mountains behind it. So that's on my list, but we'll see.
We'll connect. We'll connect. We'll try and make it happen.
Cool. Vanya, this has been awesome. What's something right now that you're just so grateful for?
Oof. I mean, yeah, I'm just grateful to be back to like normal life, Like you quickly forget how bad things were as soon as you're like back into the normal swing of things. But I have these moments of like almost flashbacks of last year when I was like, oh my God, I remember I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't taste food because the chemo effects. Like I couldn't sleep because of XYZ. Like all these things that you almost take for granted. So I think I'm just happy to like be alive, quite frankly,
Yeah,
and just be back to like normal life in a way. And so I know that's a very generic answer, but it's all the little things that you don't even think about. Yeah.
amazing. Well, I hope that your trip back to your roots is that the skies are bluer, the grass is greener, and the Black Sea is just perfect. Um, that'll be great.
Absolutely.
So a couple quick fire questions to end because I could talk to you for hours about all sorts of stuff. You're just super fascinating and fun. But if you could retire one place only, would you go to mountains or beach?
Beach.
Beach. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a book or movie or both that you recommend to everybody?
I mean, my like best movie of all time, Top Gun. My husband proposed to me in full Top Gun gear. I just
Oh,
love
wow.
it. It has everything and it makes me cry every time.
Oh, that's awesome. My wife will love to hear that. She has a Top Gun shirt. She loves that. And the new one's cool. I hope they keep coming out with them.
I know. How good was it? I had like goosebumps. I was wearing my Top Gun cap, t-shirt, the whole lot. Yeah.
That's great. Top Gun it is. Um, well, Vanya, and how can people connect with you? I know you're a staunch businesswoman doing awesome things in Australia and all over the world, but how can people connect with you?
Yeah, just over LinkedIn, I try to be fairly like vocal in terms of all the fun things I do. I work for an amazing company called Partnerize, and they've really kind of supported me in my health journey, but also I recently got promoted to look after our whole APAC business, which is so exciting. So I'm fairly active on LinkedIn, and yeah, apart from that, I would really encourage everyone to check out Ovarian Cancer Research Foundation called OCRF. And if there's any spare change, there's so much amazing research that's happening. So I would encourage people to donate for cancer research. And yeah, if they have any questions, I'm also available through other like social media. Yeah.
Love it. Well, I'll tag those in the show notes for you. And thanks so much for your time, Vanya. It was great to see you.
Thank you so much, Joey. It was so fun.
Awesome. Well, have a safe trip.
Thank you.